The next shape we're going to look at is a circle. So some quick vocabulary. A circle is the set of points on a plane which are equidistant, equal distance, from a fixed point called the center. The radius of a circle is the distance from the center to the edge. And I'm definitely missing the word edge there. And that's easy to fix. EDGE. There we go. That should probably from the center of a circle to the edge. Should probably put of the here as well. Now that makes sense. The distance from the center of a circle to the edge of the circle. A diameter is a line segment that connects 2 points on a circle and passes through the center. It's 2 radii back to back. Circumference is the distance around a circle. It's basically a circle's perimeter. So to get perimeter and area, we need the radius. Sometimes we'll be given a distance. That's not a problem. To change diameter to radius, we cut it in half. And then our formulas are simply circumference is 2 times pi times r, and area is pi times r squared. So we're going to find the circumference and area of each. And for each one, we're going to give the answer 2 ways. One in terms of pi, and the other as a number, where we'll use 3.14 for pi and round that off to the nearest tenth. So, circle with a radius of 5. The key thing here is that the radius is 5. We know that. So we can plug it straight in. So C equals 2 times pi times 5. This is multiplication. We can do it in any order we want. So I'm going to do 2 times 5 because that makes sense. So we've got 10 pi. That is the answer in terms of pi. It still has the pi symbol. So this is one of our answers. It's 10 pi centimeters. We have to give it a second way as well. We have to give it as a decimal. So we have to do 10 times 3.14. You must use 3.14 for pi. If you use the pi button on a calculator, our answers may round differently, and yours will be wrong. 10 times 3.14 is 31.4. So there is circumference. Area is a bit easier. It's pi times the radius squared. Well, 5 squared is 25. And I'm going to reorder this to put the 25 in front of pi, just because when we leave pi as an answer, we treat it like a variable in that it comes after the multiplier of 25. And as a decimal, we'll take 25, multiply that by 3.14, and we get 78.5. And both of these are centimeters squared, because they're areas. This next circle, we have a problem because we're given a diameter, which means the radius is half of that diameter. Half of 1.5 is 0.75. Okay, so circumference is 2 times pi times r. Except I shouldn't put r there because we know r is 0.75. 2 times 0.75 is 1.5. So 1.5 pi inches is our pi form of the answer. To change that to a decimal form, we will do 1.5 times 3.14. That's 4.71. The directions say round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to call it 4.7. For area now, area is pi times the radius squared. So pi times 0.75 squared. Going to do 0.75 squared. That is 0.5625. pi. And this is an area, so it's inches squared. You do not round the pi version of your answer. If it's 0.5625 pi, you write that out. You only round the decimal form. So to get the decimal form, we will take that 0.5625, multiply it by 3.14, and to the nearest tenth, we get 1.8 square inches. The decimal is 1.76625. 1.76, the 6 tells me to kick the 7 up to an 8. Graph the circle with this information. Find the circumference and area. Okay. Center is at -1, 1. Well, -1, 1 is left 1, down 1. I'm sorry, left 1, up 1. It's left 1, up 1. So it's there. And we know the circle itself passes through the point -1, 3, which is left 1, up 3. To sketch the circle, what we have to realize is if that point that we just plotted, -1, 3, is 2 units away from the center, then we can put more points 2 units away from the center. Specifically from the center, I'm going to go 2 places right and put a point, 2 places down and put a point, and 2 places left and put a point. And I'm going to roughly connect those with a circle. I'm going to sketch a circle in. It's not going to be a perfect circle, and it doesn't need to be. So long as I see all 4 points and curved surfaces connecting them, not line segments, we're good. So we've graphed the circle. Find its circumference and area. So the thing we need to know for that is the radius. How far from the center to the edge? 2 units. So circumference is going to be 2 times pi times the radius. That's 4 pi units. And 4 pi is 12.6 units as a decimal. It's 12.56, but the 6 kicks the 5 up to a 6. The area of the circle will be pi times the radius squared, 2 squared. That is 4 pi units, which means it's also 12.6 units, and these are units squared, their areas. This is the only circle, by the way, where circumference and area are the same thing. Only when the radius is 2 do you get the same value. And a quick word problem. A bicycle odometer recorded 147 revolutions of a wheel that has a diameter of 4/3 feet. How far did the bicycle travel? And we're going to use 22/7 for pi. So, we know it went 147 revolutions, and we have a diameter of 4/3 feet. If we draw a circle, if we think about it, for each revolution, if we start here and rotate this thing around, this would travel, and we'd wind up back with x on the bottom. 1 revolution is what we get if we unwrapped the circle and made it a line segment. Now, if we're unwrapping it to make this 147 revolutions, to figure that out, what we're doing is we're taking the circumference and laying it out flat. So what we need is 147 circumferences. So we need the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r, but that's also pi d. 2r is d. So we can use that shortcut here. We're told to use 22/7 for pi, so the circumference here is going to be 22/7 times 4/3. There is no simplifying we can do here. So the circumference is going to be 88/21. We're going to leave that for a second, because now we've got to use the 147. That's one circumference. To figure out how far it traveled, we need 147 of those. So we have to take 147 and multiply that with 88 21sts. Now, it just so happens that 147 and 21 simplify. 7 21s go into 147. That's perfect. So in the grand scheme of things, we're doing 7 times 88 to get our answer. And the answer is 616 feet. Unit of measurement off of the diameter is feet. If you don't realize that 147 and 21 are related, which is, I understand very much, remember, you are allowed to use a calculator in this chapter, so 147 times 88 over 21 shouldn't really be that big of a problem.